everyone, today I'll be reviewing Home Sweet Home Alone, just dropped on Disney Plus, and it is starring Ellie Kemper, Archie Yates, Rob Delaney, and this movie is directed by Dan Mazer. So when the first trailer dropped for this movie, everybody really hated the trailer. I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, okay, maybe this movie will not be that bad because the way this trailer was made. And I can't believe this. I'm saying that trailer was actually better than the movie because this movie was absolutely, I had such a bad time watching this movie. I can't believe this. It was absolutely awful, this movie. Especially the way all these characters were written. Like, you have to see to believe how bad this Max character is. On top of it, you see Max in this movie is actually British. And he and his mom, for some reason in this movie, they are British in an American Christmas classic movie. Make no sense whatsoever. When you watch it, you're like, why? Especially the Bugler people, Jeff and Pam. When you see their story in this movie, like they're kind of like a middle class family, and the Jeff, he lost his job because he lost his job, so now they have to sell their home, but in their home they have this precious doll, but for some reason Max and his mom when it comes to an open house in their like house for sale, when they come there and Max kind of take this doll from their home, which is worth $200,000. If they sell that doll, their financial problem will be solved. So when you see this Max character actually stole this doll in this movie, and then he left home alone, and then you meet this Max character, you are like, oh my god, this movie going nowhere, because the way this Max character was written in this movie, the minute you met him, you start like, don't like this kid at all. Like the way he talks to his mom, the way he behaves, and I was like, oh my god, this kid is awful. Especially, I don't know if it's believable, especially he lives in such a nice house and with his mom. Why he was acting that way, who knows? I think this writer who directed this movie is Dan Mazer. That means I wouldn't say this movie set pieces or the production like the production quality was low quality movie, because some of the things in this movie looks very pricey the way it was done. So it's not a low, like the production wise movie. Like you can see there is money has spent on this movie. This movie is, I saw it is by 21st Century. Like their logo was playing. So I don't know if they made this movie or Disney, because like it is, that's the information I couldn't find, like who made this movie, because the Home Alone is actually owned by 21st Century, but it is now owned by Disney, but they were playing like 21st Century's logo. So I was like, ooh, so I was a little confused, I suppose, because end of the day, a movie like this, Disney don't want to put their logo, of course, in the front, because like then people will be like, oh, Disney made this awful movie. That means I think that this movie, the reason it's not going to work because of the center character Max. He's such an awful person, an awful kid. How can you make this kid so awful? I don't understand. In a kid's movie, the way he talks to his mom, even his mom is not likable at all. Because the first Home Alone movie, what is that actress? She's so good. The Kevin's mom and Kevin, both of them were so likable. They had this like a bond between them. And in this movie, I was like, why is Max's mom coming home back for him? He's such an awful kid. That means the way they left him, I'm like, overall, I can't believe this. How the awful this movie was, like the way it was written. I will give this writing team the blame, because they're the one, the way they wrote this movie. That is Jeff and Pam's character, oh my god, no way they are like bad guy in this movie. Obviously they are like they're losing their home, they need to get this doll, but somehow I feel like the way this movie, like the last act in this movie, they try to show us like they're the bad guy, and I'm like, they're not bad guy, they're in trouble, they're in financial trouble, they need to sell their home, they need to lie to their kids. You feel for them, but you feel too much for this. How can they be villain? I guess this movie was trying to show you both sides of the story, but it doesn't work that way in movies. Either you're a good guy or bad guy. I guess, I don't know what was this writer thinking. This movie was really awful to watch. I can't believe it, how bad it was. And I see the Rotten Tomatoes score this movie so low. Really, it's really deserved this movie, this low rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It was such a bad watch. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's my thought on this movie. When I saw it for the first time, I was really shocked how bad this was. Let me know in the comment what you think about this movie. Enjoyed my review. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave your comment. And take care.